Hey guys, it's been a while, it's been a long while, and I have been so incredibly busy with subbing as well as you guys probably know for those who follow HJ Translated, but also with school, with life in general. It's been a very busy few months, but back in February I finished subbing season 4 of Het Huis Anubis. So I thought, why not film a review of season 4? Bit later than I usually do it. With season 3, I did it a few weeks after. Now I'm doing it nearly, well, exactly 2 months after. Sorry, but let's get right into it. So, for those that remember the cover, and it says, make your collection complete with the exciting final. And an exciting final it was, nevertheless. But I do have a lot of complaints about this season. It's called The Conclusion. I called it, by the way, the books call it on my website, and that's The Curse of Ankhsenamon. And it's more than 10 hours of viewing pleasure, as it was the smallest season of just 50 episodes. On the back it says, Fabian is still alive. Nienke can barely believe it. Her joy is being overshadowed by Noah's fate. The society of Ankhsenamon has to destroy the descendants of Amneris. When they try to save Noah with the teardrop of Isis, Matthijs' mother will forever be lost. They're desperately searching for a way to save both. But will they? It's really difficult when it's in Dutch on the back and I have to translate in English while reading it. So let's take a look at the DVDs and I'll talk about the episode as they get on. So the first DVD is with Nienke and Amber on the front. And sorry if the lighting is a little bit annoying, but I am sitting in the kitchen because I have the house for my own today. So yeah. So basically, this is the first 16 episodes. What happened in here? Well, I think it's the saddest 16 episodes because it's like the end of an era to me, and that's one of my main points about the season, you could say. They let Patricia and Joyce and Trudy and Ibrahim go way too soon. Like, I get that the actors wanted to leave probably, or that they wanted to do something different and they needed the rooms to be clear and their stories were no longer, well, there was nothing else to tell. But then I'm like, why do it the way you did it? Patricia and Joyce apparently wrote to go to a internship, or not real internship, they could do a year, an exchange year in America. But first of all, we never see it happen. I remember in season 3 of Das Huis Anubis we do see it happen, but we never see it happen in here, so it just plucked out of nowhere. But like, I get that they seem ambitious, it could be. But then Joyce tells Mickey immediately because they just probably dating now. It's finally going well. Um, so yeah, there's that. Mickey gets mad, rightfully so, because like he should support Joyce, but she should have told him as well. Then we have the whole Patricia and Robbie thing. Robbie would have been so supportive, so supportive, but instead she shows the lie, and it gets dragged out, and there's a lot of drama, and it's just so sad. And then they eventually they do make up. They meet him at the airport, and then they still take off. Now you have this picture of Patricia seeing Fabian, who none of them knew were alive until that very moment, and she doesn't go into it. Well, Patricia and Fabian's bond has always been so strong, so that was also one of those things that bothered me, you could say. Um, and other than that, what happens here? Well, we have Trudy and Ibrahim's wedding, which is the main focus, while we have Noah just being kidnapped by Jacob and Matthijs, and Jeroen wanting to get there, and Nienke still believing Fabian's dead, but then Matthijs tells her he isn't dead, but there's still a denial. But of course, Nienke wants Fabian back, but Jeroen wants to save Noah, and so much drama. So much drama, but that's typically Het Huis Anubis, and I love it. But I gotta say, the first 20 episodes of season 4 are my favorites, and then everything gets to shit. Well, it gets shitty, and I'll tell you why. And I'm getting DVD 2 at the same time, which should be Mick and Fabian. Episode DVD 2 is when Trudy and Ibrahim leave. So that means that Fabian has come back already. Fabian is back, but he has to lie about his identity because he's technically dead, as they all had a funeral in season 3. And like, even though most of them have left, they can't really tell about it, and it's this whole blah blah. Um, so he calls himself Berend. But Mick is miserable, his girlfriend has left, um, the newspaper isn't really his thing. He sees that Robbie and Patricia are still in contact, but Joyce doesn't really contact him, so he's annoyed. So Fabian tells Mick that he's Fabian, so that he's not Berend. And that's actually one of my favorite moments of season 4, and I think the actor who plays Mick, Vincent Banich, that he really, really did amazing season 4. Like, he still isn't the greatest actor of all of them, but he has progressed the most of all of them. And because he started, like he said in an interview with MTV Netherlands or MTV Belgium, that he was still nervous, that he has ADHD, and it was difficult for him, and they casted him as the pretty boy. Come on, didn't matter if he could act or not. And I feel like you see that in season 1 he's quite, he can act, he's not that bad, but he's quite the same, and then he grows so much, and it's also because of the writing. So I really think Mick, I think even that Mick is my favorite character in season 4, to be honest. But anyway, um, so there's that. Then the club decides, or they discover, thanks to Fabian being back, that they have to do 3 love steps to get the Theatre of Isis to unlock. So Jeroen has gone to Egypt to get the papyrus pieces they need to put together to know how to open the things, how to do those steps. And the first step is a love potion. No. Whoa, sorry. The first step is a goodbye ritual, and it's for Trudy. So they have to create this goo and they have to sprinkle it onto her while letting her go. And then she goes to Uncle Ibrahim, who is in Morocco trying to rebuild his village. I miss Trudy a lot, but I guess why she had to leave, it was in one way a goodbye for Victor, as Victor really grew in this season. Like, he accepted who he is. He accepted that these kids are trying their hardest and that these kids are trying to save something that's much bigger than him. So he really became a new character. He became a proper character, and I love that very much. But Trudy leaving is another step of him for letting her go. But then, and that's the most frustrating part of the whole of season 4, Marijke comes in with her children Danny and Sophie. And Danny and Sophie are the nephew and niece of Victor. So Victor and Marijke are siblings. And Marijke is annoying. Marijke is obsessed with dolls. She wants to take over the house because Victor Sr., who died in the very first minutes of the whole episode, said that in the contract that if she wanted a house someday in her life, she would get it. And she does it eventually, but Victor is allowed to stay there, and then he does all these kind of things. But that's not important right now. And then we have her children. Sophie is a brat who's quite nosy, who thinks she's really smart, but she can be really stupid. But other than that, she's fine. Like, she can be mean, but she grows as well, and I don't mind her really that much. But Danny, oh my god, while he is fine in Revenge of Argus, he is so annoying in season 4. He is obsessed with the club, he wants to belong with them, but he's such a brat, so he makes it annoying. He stalks them, he annoys them constantly. It's just so annoying, and he does everything for his mother. He even calls her mommy. They frustrate me so much, and it's also because there are such easy um, cliffhangers, you could say, because it's always they're getting punished. It's always they're coming in between, and that's something lacking in season 4. In season 1 to 3, there were amazing cliffhangers, even in the through the week episodes. So episodes of those I upload per Danny. So 2, 3, 4, and episode 6, 7, 8. Those were always the ones that, no, yes, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those were always the ones that were a bit lesser cliffy because the day after you got an episode, but usually they were still good, but now they were so the same, and yeah, like, and then you have this weird plotline when the second task or the second love step is that you have to create a love potion, like I said earlier. And Appy wants to spray it on Amber because he's still in love with her, even though I believed it had gone away a little bit in season 2 and season 3. But anyway, so now it's fully back. And then he accidentally sprays Mareike, and there is this weird 24-hour love thing between them two. And disgusting. But so yeah, they're really the downside. I don't think Mareike is a good villain either. The actress is good. I know her from different shows, but no, unnecessary. I'm so glad they skipped it in season 3 of Das Huis Anubis. Then on to DVD 3, and if I am correct, it's Jeroen and Appie. Yeah. So let's see. Yes, it's basically, it continues with the love potion, and they decide they want to spray it on Sophie and Mick, and they do, and it works. The teardrop becomes pinkish, and Sophie and Mick are in love for like 24 hours or a little bit more, and they even kiss, or they nearly kiss. I think they just kiss before it works out. And Sophie and Mick surprised me. It was a really quick enemies to lover, in my opinion. And I think they did it also because the actors, so Vincent Banic and Klaartje Jansen, were dating in real life, and they really do have the chemistry. I also think it's kind of necessary, because otherwise Mick, Robbie and Sophie would have nothing to do, because their whole storyline is centered around the newspaper. To get into that, which is a big factor of this, as I've already explained, the love potion. Yeah. So the newspaper is on the brink of getting shut down by Van Swieten, because there are complaints it isn't as good. Patricia and Joyce have left, Robbie and Mick can do it on their own. So they need to search for someone new, which doesn't go as planned, or they stop. Then Sophie comes in, and she actually wants to deliver a quality paper, which is logical for a school. Like you can't just write gossip if you're doing a school newspaper. And then she enters, but Mick is being a bitch about it. So they decide to do a battle of the school newspapers, a quality school newspaper and a school newspaper with stuff that the students agree on, according to Mick, or that students want to read. Van Swieten thinks it's an amazing idea, and Robbie has to be divided. Even though he wants to be nice to Sophie, she always is mean to him, so he leans more onto Mick, but he tries to stay on both sides. And then we go over to the final DVD in a bit. Sophie learns from Mick there is this ice skater, because ice skating is very popular in the Netherlands, who has gone, how do you say it? We call it a kluizenaar, but how do you say it? It's someone who doesn't want to be in public anymore, who locks himself in his home and doesn't come out or barely acknowledges anyone. So that turns out it's a famous writer, and eventually he not kidnaps her, but the boys think they kidnap her, and everything ends well. And the writer causes the newspaper to be saved, because Mick and Sophie are a couple and there's only one newspaper now. So that's their plotline, which was too quickly resolved. But anyway. But onto the club, then in the fourth DVD, which is Patricia, Joyce and Noah. It's time for the final step, you could say, and it is awakening Anke Senamon and doing what she says. Anke Senamon is the vengeful wife of Tutankhamun, who was jealous because he ran off with his lover Amneris, while she couldn't have children, and she really wanted children. So she has been looking for the descendant of Amneris, waiting to kill her, but we eventually learn that's not exactly the truth, and that there is not just one descendant, but two. So the villains this season, Jacob and Matthijs, who I think Matthijs is not really the villain, he just has to do it because of his father. I love them. It's such a conflict, because like they were archaeologists as a family, and they traveled Egypt. They discovered Anke Senamon's tomb. The mom or the dad accidentally awakened her, and she trapped the mom, giving them the curse of Anke Senamon, condemning them to the society of Anke Senamon, that they have to find a descendant of Amneris, which everyone believes is Noah, and kill her, or give her to her. While in fact she wants the teardrop of Isis. Where the teardrop of Isis was, we don't know, but we suspect in the tomb, and that Vince Brunneke Hennegouwen put the little chest of season 3 in the tomb where the teardrop was. Turns out the teardrop is the descendant. I'm going to put up a spoiler warning for this. So they have to give it to Anke but nobody knows. And Jeroen wants to save Noah because he comes back from Egypt. The club wants to save Noah as well, but Nienke still really wants to save Matthijs' mother as well because she has become close friends with Matthijs. And I think that's a very good concept. I think it's a good idea that Nienke told Matthijs if they had been early from the beginning, Matthijs would have helped him, I think, because Matthijs is not at all like his father. And now by lying to him and not saying things, they made things worse. But of course, there is a lot of fighting currently in the club because you have, let's be honest, Jeroen, Ander, and Appie are more on the side of saving Noah. Fuck the others. While Fabian wants to help Matthijs' family, but Nienke is more like, I want to save both. I really want to save both against anything. And then in the final, which is an amazing, hectic final in the Van den Berg family's mansion, they fight, and Nienke gets her hands on the teardrop, and she sees Anke Senamen, who appears when you have the teardrop in your hand, and she gives the teardrop to her, and then everything fades to black. And I think that was such an amazing way of handling it, because we all think if you give the teardrop to Anke Senamen, you're going to die. And Nienke does it anyway, because she knows, thanks to info Jeroen got in Egypt, that the teardrop is the other descendant, and she's willing to give her life. And it's such a nice tie-in from the very beginning, because in episode 3 or 4 of season 1, Sarah says to Nienke, you're the only one with the power to lift this curse. We think it's, well, of course they didn't plan everything ahead, but we think it's the curse of getting the Grail in season 1 and then ending the curse of the Pharaoh in season 2 and giving the Grail to Amneris again and opening the Love Tomb. Then we discover the whole teardrop thing, and then it turns out that the curse of Anke Senamen, what happened in a way because Tutankhamun cheated with Amneris, it all created everything. And Winsbrugge Hennegouwen family was just dropped into it, and these kids as well. And I think it's such a beautiful take that in the end it truly was Nienke. And that's something I really, really miss in Das Huis Anubis. Because they changed the plot and they made the teardrop, I believe, out of friendship. It's been a while, I'm in season 2 on my rewatch. Power of friendship saves Trabas and Mara. But not necessarily Nina. So Nina is kind of useless because she doesn't do that much in season 2 and season 1. Oops. Even though I love her. But Nienke really ends the story. She sacrifices herself. She wakes up in an empty villa. And she sees Amneris and Tutankhamun and Achesenamun and the little baby boy, aka the teardrop. And Amneris says, you had to sacrifice a life, and it was the life of the teardrop. She explains that she herself was too selfish to give Achesenamun the boy because he would take over the throne when Tutankhamun died in Egypt. When she couldn't do that. So she admits it was her fault and that she has been looking for someone to fix everything. And so many years later, it's Nienke who does that. And I think that's such a beautiful ending. And then Nienke's like, but am I dead now? Is this everything? Is it the end? But it isn't. And she gets set back. And Fabian is hovering over her. And he's so worried. And all the others are too. And everyone is thinks like, what the hell? Because Rosa isn't back, Nienke is presumably dead, Noah is presumably dead because they only had 50 days and that was the 50th day. 50 episodes, you get it? So yeah, whoa, madness. And then she wakes up and she says, we did it. Noah wakes up, the coffin of Rosa opens and Rosa is also alive, so everyone gets their happy ending. And I think that's just beautiful, honestly. I really think that's beautiful. It was a beautiful way to end it as well. Yeah, that's just my opinion. And then they all get together and they do one final Sibuna. Is it with the left hand? No, with the right hand. One final Sibuna. I love the ending. I wish we got a more ending of what happened at the house like they did in Das Huis Anubis and House of Anubis. But like we still have movies coming up. We had the 5, so yeah, I do get it. I'm going to drink a bit because I've been talking for a long time and I don't have much edit time, so I won't edit this out. Was season 4 a mess, especially from episode 25 until episode 45, you could say? Most definitely. It was quite the controversial ending, you could say. Not story-wise, but just with actors leaving and everything. You could say it was quite a controversial ending. But it wasn't the end. And right after season 4 dropped, if I remembered correctly, we got the theater show, we got the second movie here. Then after this, we got a teaser, which I have uploaded, of Victor thinking of and selling the house to Kai, so the main villain of the 5. So yeah, they thought it out, but it was not the real ending, and that's what I like. And Revenge of Argus and so on, I will maybe do in another video. So yeah, to conclude season 4, Faith character, I find it a difficult one. From the boys, Mick, because I think Fabian acted stupid at times, Jeroen was barely in it. Appie has never been a fave, Robbie neither. So I gotta say Mick and Victor, actually. I really enjoyed Victor this season. He got his redemption as well. He got the house back in the end. So yeah, only to sell it, but anyway. Yeah, and then Faye female character. Yeah, Noah didn't do anything. Joyce and Patricia barely did anything before leaving. Amber was quite annoying at times, so I'll have to say Nienke, even though I disagreed with how she handled everything at times. But so Nienke, Mick, and Victor were my favorite characters this season, you could say. Yes, favorite romance, Fabian and Nienke. I mean, the way they connected at the airport is one of my favorite scenes. You can see their love, you feel the love, and when they're seeing one another, and Jeroen is in the back doing Sibuna before taking off. Ah, ah, one of the best scenes of the whole show, in my opinion. I'm just like, whoa, so good. The other ships. Am I happy with the endgame ships? So the endgame ships are Fabian and Nienke, definitely. Jeroen and Noah, definitely. Appie and Amber, because of the third movie. I wouldn't have mind if they'd stayed friends, but I'm glad they got their happy ending. Mick and Sophie. I would have preferred Mick and Joyce, but I get it was difficult with Joyce and Mick, their actors, so Marieke and Vincent having broken up in real life after a very long relationship. Patricia and Robbie were technically endgame, never bothered to care for them, even as a kid. Don't care for them now, but I'm glad Patricia has a happy ending because she deserves love, even though this isn't my favorite Patricia of all of them. Anything else? Happy for Trudy that she finally has a man who loves her, who believes in the spiritual stuff as well. Really happy for her. And I think that's pretty much it. How would I rate all seasons now, having rewatched them in detail in the past 2 years? 5th season remains season 2. Season 2 is so iconic. It's perfect from the beginning to the end. It has the right pacing. It has the right amount of task, the right amount of love, the right amount of drama. Then I have to say season 1. Season 1 is underrated in my opinion. It's really slow with the cylinders, but it really has this nostalgic feeling for me now because they were also young as well. So yeah, and then I have to say season 3 for the second half. I think the first half was very exciting when you first watched it, but when you have seen it already, it gets a little bit slower because the mystery is heavily focused in the first few episodes, but it doesn't progress really quickly. So when we're watching, the first half of season 3 is quite boring at times, but the second half is perfect. And then I have to say season 4 at the last, I saw in this huge ass notebook I keep with all my information about what I do for AJJ Translated and other stuff. So this one, I said season 4 second best, but now I really have to disagree. I remember it being better than it was. Like they have two of the best antagonists, Jaker and Matthijs. Even though Matthijs is in my eyes not real antagonist, I do believe that. But the pacing in the middle was way too slow, even though it is more enjoyable to rewatch than season 3, part 1. But yeah, I'm going to round it up at this because it's already way too long. Oh damn. Um, I will upload this in the upcoming days. I'm filming this at the 1st of May on Labor Day. Woohoo. Um, so yeah, it will probably upload it in the coming week. And then I can also say this because this will be known as well. The first episode of the 5 of the Magical Sword will be online the 9th of May. So Monday, well, when I upload this next Monday. I am going to love the 5 a little more. I will review it as well with part 1, season 1 part 1, season 1 part 2, and season 2 because I didn't have as much seasons. But yeah, I'm loving it more than I would have thought I would. So yeah, it's fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry for the bad lighting, sorry for the sore voice, but that's when I record everything at once. Sorry for the drinking. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time, and I hope you watch a 5 soon on AJJ Translated. Bye!